We have this just in. A law enforcement official briefed on that Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside of Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas tells CNN that the incident is now being investigated as a possible terrorist act. Police say it took place at around 8:40 a.m. local time. There was one person inside the vehicle who died, and 7 other people suffered minor injuries. The FBI is involved in this investigation, and we are going to stay on top of the story and bring you updates as we
project of DOGE is animated by malice for administrators and is seemingly rash and occasionally cutting off critical government functions out of haste, the savings alone will be worth it. On the DOGE website, they posted $16 billion saved just in canceled contracts. Interesting, if true.
A closer look shows big problems. For example, DOGE claimed axing a single immigration and customs contract saved $8 billion. Turns out that contract was worth a maximum of $8 million.
The Wall Street Journal estimates the actual amount saved at not $16 billion, but closer to $2.5 billion.
Who amongst us hasn't lied about saying something is 16 when it's really 2.5? Billion inches. That's not true either. See, it seems that DOGE is struggling a bit to get its footing. From made-up claims about $50 million of taxpayer money going for Gazan condoms, to billions in Social Security payments to dead people, a claim that turned out to not be real, despite what you've heard.
We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old, because they're obviously fraudulent or incompetent. But if you take all of those millions of people off Social Security, all of a sudden we have a very powerful Social Security with people that are 80 and 70 and 90, but not 200 years old.
True. You can't argue with that if only it were happening. But it's not happening. We're not paying millions and millions of dead people's Social Security money. And even if if there was a 200-year-old man walking around, he wouldn't need Social Security. He'd still be in Congress. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. Cutting money shouldn't be this hard. I'm starting to think that we as a country don't understand where the real waste, fraud, and abuse in our system really is. Maybe the savings we gleaned from cutting VA nurses and iguana STD studies isn't where the real money is. Let me see if I can noodle. You know what? Let me join DOGE. I'm going to see if I can noodle some ideas here. I want to get down some certain ideas I want to do and get. Yeah, there you go. I got that. Let's see what I can do here. This is my wanna be an accountant starter kit, so I got it off of Amazon for $5,000. My accountant told me not to get it. So we're looking to save taxpayers some money, and I know, let me think, we got the studies that are done, or, how about we just take $3 billion in subsidies we give to oil and gas companies that already turned billions in profits? How long did that take?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh, wait! How about we just close down the carried interest loophole on hedge funds? That's $1.3 billion a year. Oh, how about we stop the $2 trillion we've given to defense contractors to build a fighter jet that blows when everybody knows the next war is going to be fought with drones and blockchain, whatever that is. Holy shit! I can't believe it. I just saved us billions of dollars in 11 seconds. Just call me Big Balls. Right? I'm sorry, I'm being told that nickname is already taken. Well, can I get a DOGE nickname? Well, disturbingly low-hanging balls, really? Oh, like you've never heard of how would you even know that? Oh, I'm sorry. But see, this is where the real money is. The real money, the money our free market-ish system uses to prop up corporate profit at the expense of the taxpayer. Pharmaceutical companies get everything from our government: tax breaks, research grants, patent extensions, worth billions of dollars. And what do we, the people, get for it? The highest drug prices in the Western Hemisphere. And for some reason, the possibility of an infection in our perineum. Why would you take a drug that would give you an infection in your perineum? And why are they telling us about it at dinner time? But you know what's so horrible about our system now, and the corruption that lays within it? We're so f***ing numb to it, we actually tout tiny cracks in that exploitation as victory.
President touting the first ever negotiations with pharmaceutical companies to lower the cost of 10 drugs.
And today, I'm proud to announce that Medicare has reached agreement with all manufacturers on all 10 drugs selected in the first round of negotiation.
Oh, can it be? The companies we subsidize with billions of dollars are allowing us the privilege to negotiate the price of 10 of their drugs? And 10 is all of them, right? It would be embarrassing if it was a small drop in the bucket and that the American people didn't expect that we should negotiate for all their f***ing drugs because we've already paid for it with our subsidies. Are you insane? I'll be going to the hospitals. What we do with pharmaceutical companies is like the worst Shark Tank deal in fucking history. Well, we're asking for billions of dollars of your money. Oh, what do we get, 10% of your company? No. Do we get a discount? No. Well, what do we get? Have you checked your perineum? We live in the upside down, and don't blame the corporations. They are profit-seeking psychopaths that need the lowest wages and the cheapest raw materials to drive their highest profits. But why do we, the taxpayers, subsidize their psychopathy? That's the waste, fraud, and abuse in our system. That's what we should be going after. Not the fantastical, overgenerous terrorist condom allowances.
In another program, $50 million plus another $50 million for condoms for Hamas. You know about that? $100 million for condoms. Condoms. Does everybody know what a condom is?
You deliver. Delivering the speech in an elementary school? Why wouldn't they know what condoms are? Look, capitalism is by definition exploitative. It's how it operates. That's fine. But then government's role should be to ease the negative effects on Americans of that exploitation, not subsidize that treachery with our money. We're getting f***ed at a Diddy party, and they're making us buy the baby oil. I want DOGE to work. I want better efficiencies. I want to get rid of the alphabet agencies that don't do enough, make the Pentagon pass an audit. But we are doging in the wrong place if we want to really change the system. Companies like Walmart and McDonald's make billions of dollars in taxpayer-subsidized profits, yet many of their hardworking employees need taxpayer-subsidized public assistance. Airlines get billions in bailouts that they use in stock buybacks and bonuses. But if you're on food assistance, you're not allowed to buy hot food with it. Because apparently the heated entrees are for winners. We are subsidizing the very system that makes workers' lives harder in the first place. all in the name of freedom and liberty. But the greatest restriction of freedom in this country isn't DEI and pronoun pressure. It's f***ing poverty and struggle. And the government's role, I'm not done, you bastards! It's fine. The government's role should be to end the corruption that enables that exploitation. That's what the Democrats should be doing every day. Every day. Every day at 5 p.m. sharp, the Democrats should go live on Facebook and do the people's audit. Find the absurdities and the remedies in our exploitative system. Get someone like AOC or Jasmine Crockett or Chris Murphy or anybody that doesn't sound like they're complaining why there's no more frozen yogurt at the cafeteria in the villages. I'm sorry. You have no Riz. And we need something more than shouting. We need to do something constructive to anchor our hopes. A new acronym for a new age. It's not MAGA. It's something more like Make America Not Governed in Obviously Negative. Abort!
So, really quick, I am still getting used to OBS Studio. I forgot to unmute the microphone. Don't you love technology? Alright, so the next thing I want to go on to now is a story about radical, repugnant, disgusting Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Why won't she leave?
And with the recent measles outbreak we are seeing, she has a suggestion. While Robert F. Kennedy, of course, is too busy doing interviews and steak and shakes and totally disregarding the whole idea of vaccines, and if I'm remembering this one correctly, coming pretty close to realizing what vaccines do, Marjorie Taylor Greene had a pretty bad idea. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a prominent Republican congresswoman and a staunch ally of Trump, suggested a return to measles parties for children. In a quote tweet, Greene amplified a video contrasting a Brady Bunch clip portraying a relaxed view on the measles with a clip of a measles outbreak on Law & Order Special Victims Unit. Watch the entire video. They used to have measles parties, basically get all the kids together so they can all catch it and develop immunity. Then, when I was a kid, they did the same thing with chickenpox. Now they demonize parents who refuse to vaccinate their kids. I'm not even going to go into that video. That tweet, posted by an account that has promoted Flat Earth, captioned the clips. I'm taking they meant the Flat Earth conspiracy theory. This is just so stupid. Just vaccinate your kids. Seriously, just vaccinate your kids. They have been proven to be effective time and time and time and time and time again. And the whole anti-vax crap, I am so tired of it. Alright, we're going to take another quick break and we'll come right back. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. I want to touch back on something I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, and that was how the Senate ended up passing the 6-month spending bill. This was a vote that was 54-46. Democrats voiced frustration that Republicans went ahead and created a measure they said would include little input from them, and one they viewed as shortchanging key priorities such as health care and housing assistance, but in the end, some of them viewed a shutdown as a worse outcome and supported Democratic leader Chuck Schumer's effort to allow the bill to come to a final vote. This is according to an AP article. Democrats were confronted with two painful options: allow passage of a bill they believe gives Donald Trump vast discretion on spending decisions, or voting no and letting a funding lapse ensue. They would have had more leverage, if you ask me, if they had not voted on this piece of crap. Schumer gave members of his caucus days to vent their frustration about the options before them, but abruptly switched course and made clear on the eve of the voting that he would not allow a government shutdown. His move outraged many in the party who want to fight the Trump agenda, but gave senators room to side with Republicans and allow the continuing resolution, often described as a CR, to advance. Democrats from all quarters looked to pressure senators to kill the bill. House members wrote letters, posted on social media, and held press conferences in the hours before the vote. And this is a little snippet from the letter. The American people sent Democrats to Congress to fight against Republican dysfunction and chaos, and this was from a letter signed by 66 House Democrats to Chuck Schumer. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries and his team dashed back to the Capitol, urging senators to block the bill and negotiate a true compromise with Republicans. This is rich coming from Hakeem Jeffries, because this is a guy who is getting frustrated with people on the left, myself included, calling him out for his lack of leadership. And this is from Axios. Dems pissed at liberal groups such as Move On and Indivisible. A closed-door meeting for House Democrats this week included a gripe fest directed at liberal grassroots organizations. Members of the Steering and Policy Committee, with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries in the room on Monday, complained activist groups like Move On and Indivisible had facilitated thousands of phone calls to members' offices. People are pissed, said one senior Democrat, House Democrat who was at the meeting, said of lawmakers' reactions to the call. Democrats said Jeffries himself is very frustrated at the groups who are trying to stir a more confrontational opposition to Trump. A Jeffries spokesperson disputed that characterization and noted to Axios that their office regularly engages with dozens of stakeholder groups, including Move On and Indivisible, including as recently as Monday. Keep in mind, this was from February 11th. And Hakeem Jeffries has done a pretty piss-poor job as leader, if you ask me. Now, 1 second. Give me a second to find what I need real quick. Because going back to Chuck Schumer for a second, he said he would not go through with allowing it to pass. Unfortunately, that is not the case. There we go.
It's a disaster. And in a few weeks, if there was a shutdown, everyone would be complaining and howling. Why did they eliminate SNAP? Why did they cut so much of Medicaid? But they could do all that on their own. That's the problem. There is no check on them with the shutdown. That's not to say the CR bill is a good bill. It isn't. It didn't have any safeguards in it.
Then why did you just allow it to pass?
But it would be much, much worse to have a shutdown. And my job, Chris, as leader, is to see things a little bit ahead down the road and see how horrible this would be and alert people to it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I'm going to lose my fucking mind at the incompetence in this leadership.
Democrats don't control any part of the government. So there's not a ton of leverage. The one thing they have leverage is in the Senate where you need a filibuster-proof majority on a cloture vote. That there's essentially an unconstitutional assault on the government right now. And I think you would agree with that,
There
right?
is.
Assault on the constitutional.
These guys are the worst, and we got to fight them every step of the way.
Here's my question then, Chuck. Why the fuck are you enabling this bullshit? Why are you enabling fascists? Why are you enabling fascism? Sorry, Anna Kasparian, but it is fascism, whether you like to admit that or not. It really is. And the fact that you're acting so fucking stupid and refuse to acknowledge that is goddamn infuriating. You fucking know better.
As we say in Brooklyn, Chris,
they're saying you're not fighting. But look, Russ is already telling people, but he's telling people on the floor, we are not even going to listen to this CR. This is a piece of paper that we will impound and rip up the moment it's passed. If that's the case, how is voting for cloture not essentially an imprimatur on the very same assault on the constitutional order?
They're already, even without this CR, they're already doing it.
Right.
Okay? They did it to the Department of Education. But
Yeah, they're laying off 80,000 people. And you know what that affects? It affects Pell Grants. It affects federal student loans. It affects special education, which funds special education in the state level. So if you have a child with Down syndrome, they're fucked now, thanks to that.
I can tell you, I've been through shutdowns before. It's not that this CR is good. It's not that voting for it is good. It's horrible. But the alternative is worse. And we have
What's the alternative, Chuck? Come on, spit it out. What is it?
to look just a month ahead and see how bad a shutdown would be for all the things we believe in, and how I'd say Trump and DOGE and Musk and Vogt, they're like drooling with happiness and desire to get a government shutdown. They've said they want it. Why?
Yeah, about that. They were recently told, if this article will load, they have to reinstate thousands of fired federal workers. So, riddle me this, Chuck Schumer. How the fuck does your logic make sense? I'm dead serious. How? How does it make sense? How does it make any sense whatsoever when in actuality all you're doing is fueling this fascist takeover? Jesus fucking Christ. Hold on. For the record, let me just put this up here. There. I'm sorry, I kind of got to put that up real quick. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Not for doing anything good, I'll tell you that. These guys are authoritarians.
Let me just say with this in 1 second. I think the theory of the case for people that don't want Democrats to vote for cloture is that Americans don't quite understand what's being done to their government. It's being done in this sort of haphazard fashion. The stories are sort of getting out. You know, there's this forest.
Yeah, it's being carried out by the world's richest robber baron and a bunch of 19 to 25-year-old fucking incels.
Service worker who got laid off for no reason, and there's this veteran who's got a traumatic brain injury, who's got a clinical trial. But the shutdown would be a way of actually calling the question. And here's what I would just offer. It seems to me that the demand that makes the most sense here, and I'm not a U.S. Senator, is for the Republicans to vote on a rescission package that enunciates the cuts DOGE has done, as opposed to allowing an unelected co-president unilaterally eviscerate the American constitutional power of the purse.
Well, the bottom line.
Yeah, so Chris Hayes, for all his faults, he is 100% right on that one. He is 100% right, and I am so glad somebody fucking said it. My God. And as far as Chuck Schumer is concerned, you decided to fall into the trap of allowing this to take place. Power of the purse is no longer going to be in control of Congress. It's going to be in control of the fucking robber baron, Elon Musk. It's going to be in his control. And the fact that you're even allowing this...
It means we're all royally fucked!
Exactly. All right, we're going to take a timeout real quick. And when we come back, we're going to move on to another story, because this one kind of pissed me off. Well, actually, no. I got to rip Hakeem Jeffries a new asshole, so stay tuned for that.
This administration
We're back, you bastards.
This administration is making America weaker across the world and creating the space for people like China and Russia to step in while hurting everyday Americans. Captain Chaos and extreme MAGA Republicans spent
Captain Chaos, that's the best you can do?
last year promising to lower the high cost of living and running away from Project 2025 as if it didn't exist. They've spent this year
They fully embraced it. It was the plan all along, and Anna Kasparian got this wrong, too.
implementing the most extreme parts of the Project 2025 agenda, which will hurt the American people, while doing nothing, not a single thing, not a single bill, not a single idea, not a single plan to lower the high cost of living. In fact, the cost of groceries is going up, not down, including but not limited to the price of eggs. We've got to hold the Republicans accountable, and we will, for the lies and the broken promises.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Brian! Brian, no! No! God damn it!
Fucking bullshit!
What the fuck?
Promises that they've told to the American people.
What do you make of their conspicuous silence on that point? I mean, I cannot tell you the amount of times that we heard about the price of eggs in the lead up to this election, and now that we have the price of eggs nearly doubled, there is, crickets from the right, and suddenly the issue of high prices for groceries is no longer an issue.
We cannot let the
Of course it's not. It was never about that. It was about power and controlling everyone else. That's exactly what it was. That's all it ever was.
Republicans get away with their silence and inaction as it relates to the high cost of living in the United States of America. It's a problem. Housing costs are too high. Grocery costs are too high. Insurance costs are too high. Utility costs are too high. And child care costs are too high. America.
You had a child tax credit that would have probably helped with that, and you let it expire.
Is clearly too expensive. That's a problem that has to be fixed. The Republicans, who now control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, promise to work to try to solve that problem. They have no interest in doing so. It was a lie. And we've got to make it clear to the American people. They broke that promise, but House Democrats are determined to keep it. Because
Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck? I'm sorry, that was worth 2 of those. What have you done exactly? Because all I have seen you do is why the grab-a-holic here's a power for the minority. That has never stopped these motherfuckers in the Republican Party. That has never stopped them. You know what they do? They bitch, they moan, they whine, they complain. Hell, they might as well channel their inner 2 worthless bucks, to borrow a phrase from CM Punk. For fuck's sake, dude. Do better. Now, I will give you this, Hakeem. You did write a sternly worded statement going against Chuck Schumer for being a sellout, but that does little to combat fascism. That does little to combat this overall fucking of America that we're going through. God damn it, dude. Alright, there is some good news, though. There is some good news. Apparently, it involves creating social media videos. I wish I was kidding.
Just got back to the Capitol. Another day, another lie from these people who are out of control.
How is it possible for somebody to make shades look like they aren't swag? Or whatever the fuck that means. Seriously, how is that possible? How is that possible?
I'm told
that Donald Trump, Mike Johnson, and the extreme MAGA Republicans are claiming that Democrats are sending paid protesters into their town hall meetings.
Okay. So this is essentially to combat the line of bullshit coming from Republicans saying that paid protesters are coming. Yeah, how would the Democratic Party pay for paid protesters? We know it ain't George Soros, so you might want to try that again. Let's see. They're also pretty strapped for cash to the point where this motherfucker in this video went groveling to Silicon Valley being, oh, we need money too, don't forget us. We'll blow you, we'll do anything. Just give us money, we need the money, oh my god. He might as well have been doing
I want you to help me with your...
Ooh, hold on. He might as well have been doing this.
I want you to help me with your... Get it all the way through me, you...
Yeah, that's what he might as well have been doing when he went groveling to Silicon Valley. Seriously, it's this.
I want you to help me with your... Get it all the way through me, you...
Oh, stop it.
I'm Blitz, by the way.
What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? We don't need to send
Not necessarily a death threat, just annoyed.
paid protesters into your town hall meetings. The American people are with us all across the country.
You're losing everybody.
People are rising up to push back against the assault on the economy, the assault on hard-working families, the assault on our democracy, and the assault on Medicaid. We don't need paid protesters, bro. The American people are with us.
You're losing the American people. You're losing them. Oh my god. You're losing them, asshole. Open your eyes. Take the shades off. They're leaving your ass behind. Alright, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I'm getting off this shit. I want to talk about that court ruling that the judge handed down involving the workers, the federal workers. So stick around for that one. Alright, we're back. Let's see, where is my... Here it is. Alright, I I did want to go into this one a little more because this was good news. This was good news I wanted to touch on. Not that or that. Damn it. Hold on. All right. So it was a sham. Judge orders Trump admin to reinstate thousands of fired federal workers. This is good news because we need the federal workers to keep the government running the way it should be. A federal judge ordered Donald Trump's administration, okay, I'm going to stop right there and just correct this. You should say regime because they're not acting like a presidential administration. They're acting like a bunch of thugs. To reinstate Probationary Federal Workers Act last month, the biggest blow yet to Trump and billionaire, correction again, say robber baron, because that's what he is, Elon Musk's scheme to massively shrink the federal government. Northern District of California Judge William Alsup ruled on Thursday that the firings were unlawful and said claims that the mass layoffs were based on performance amounted to a sham to try to avoid statutory requirements. Our government should fire some good people and say it was based on performance, when they know good and well that is a lie. Alsup said that the Office of Personnel Management, a favorite of DOGE, in its crusade against career bureaucrats, had no authority whatsoever to remove workers at the Departments of Agriculture, Defense, Energy, Interior, Treasury, and Veterans Affairs. So, nice job, idiots. It's almost like you shouldn't have hired fuckers like this little nitwit. Also repeatedly accused representatives of the Trump regime of talking out of both sides of their mouths when trying to justify the layoffs. He said that the OPM was crafting smokescreens between itself and the layoffs to make them legal and refused to buy the line that the agency had no say in the widespread reduction in force. All right, so that I am actually glad to hear. And of course, Caroline Leavitt, and I want to get to her next. Caroline Leavitt ended up going out there and releasing a statement saying that the White House is promising to immediately fight back against this absurd and unconstitutional order. I'm going to stop you there. Apparently it's not. It's not. Why are you even trying to spin it as it's unconstitutional? If you don't like anything, you don't like people protesting against Tesla because Elon is fucking around with our government, automatically unconstitutional. You don't like people protesting against you, it's unconstitutional. Unconstitutional this. All right, so going back to her statement, a single judge is attempting to unconstitutionally seize the power of hiring and firing from the executive branch. Never said that. The president has the authority to exercise the power of the entire executive branch. Singular district court judges cannot abuse the power of the entire judiciary to thwart the president's agenda, she said. If a federal district court judge would like executive powers, they can try and run for president themselves. Again, not how it works, sweetheart. Not how it works. Sucks to be you. And speaking of sucking to be you, let me get off of his dumbass. Alright, it's more way up here, so 1 second. Because apparently Caroline Leavitt decided it'd be a good idea to gaslight the American people when it comes to tariffs. As you are pretty much aware by this point, Trump has levied tariffs against Canada, Mexico, well, actually here, straight from the horse's
But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. In other words, but
yeah, and all of this in a desperate bid to try tried to make Canada become the 51st state when that would make no sense for them because of the fact that they have universal health care. Everything's better up there. So, no, they don't want to be a fucking state, you fucking idiot. I'm sorry, that last segment pissed me off. Alright, so this is the condescending bullshit that came from Caroline Leavitt. And I want to circle back to that community note because that was the funniest thing that came out of this.
You're welcome. If we could just step back for a second. When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs. And I'm curious for why he's prioritizing that over the tax cuts.
He's actually not implementing tax hikes. Tariffs are a tax hike on foreign countries that, again, have been ripping us off. Tariffs are a tax cut for the American people. And the president is a staunch advocate of tax cuts. As you know, he campaigned on no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security.
Yeah, none of that's happening, and they're going to gut Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. Thanks to that continuing resolution that Chuck Schumer had the balls to go ahead and sign because he's so fucking out of touch.
Security benefits, he is committed to all three of those things, and he expects Congress to pass them later this year.
I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff? Because I have.
They
don't get charged on foreign companies, they get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and
We're going to be paying out of our piss holes. What are you talking about?
the decisions that this president has made. I'm now regret giving a question to the Associated Press. Mary.
And I regret the fact that you were even born instead of being swallowed. Anyways, some folks were meant to be swallowed. Sorry, it made me think of the Sarah Hester Ross song. But the community note on here definitely made up for it. Important context for the video, White House Press Secretary Leavitt is incorrect here. Tariffs are not a tax hike on foreign countries. Tariffs are paid by the importer, the companies in the United States importing the goods. And the burden of the tariff has been found to mostly be passed on to the consumer in the form of higher fucking prices. Jesus Christ, how hard is that for you to understand? But then again, I don't think you have many functioning brain cells to begin with, given all the bleach you've gone through. So, no surprise there. Oh, for fuck's sake. But in all seriousness, this was not the worst of it. Two things. First, they managed to lose Peter Doocy over the gaslighting she's done about the stock market as well.
And we also expect the White House to try to reassure folks who are sitting there looking at their 401ks going down and down and down. This is a White House that came in trying to get federal workers to retire by the hundreds of thousands, but it's tough to make the argument that you should retire if your retirement accounts are getting throttled, which is what is happening right now. So we hope for answers to all of these curiosities any minute. John?
And what's ironic is Doocy's actually right on the money. He's actually right on this. Let me see if I can find the clip real quick before I transition over to the other line of bullshit. I'm not finding it. I thought I put it in here. Ah, here it is. right by it. All right, so another thing, Sean Hannity, the Fox News propagandist, decided to bring Caroline Leavitt onto his show. Unfortunately, it went a little something like this.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Take a look.
When President Trump last addressed the BRT when he was on the campaign trail, his big push was on tax cuts. He's going there today as he's proposing tax hikes in the form of tariffs. And I'm curious,
he's not doing
why. I'm sorry, have you ever paid a tariff?
You notice what they did there, right? We just watched the full clip. Did you see what they just did there? They totally removed context that was desperately needed, that exposed this little hussy for the fucking moron she is.
Because I have. They don't get charged on foreign companies, they get charged on the importers.
And ultimately, when we have fair and balanced trade, which the American people have not seen in decades, as I said at the beginning, revenues will stay here, wages will go up, and our country will be made wealthy again. And I think it's insulting that you're trying to test my knowledge of economics and the decisions that this president has made. I now regret giving a question to the Associated Press.
Checkmate. Anyway, watch this.
You seriously think that's a checkmate? Jesus, God, you're such a liar. Do we need to revisit the full clip, dumbass? Do we need to? Oh, who am I kidding? Hannity is actually not dumb. He's an evil, evil man. He really is an awful person.
Daddy was so mean, Daddy was so tough, Daddy me, and that was quite enough.
Yeah. So, this is going to drive me up the damn wall with these people. It really is. Alright, so we're going to take another break, but when we come back, I want to take a look at something that occurred back in December, and we're going to close out with that. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. so before we dive into the final segment, we do have one other little story that I think is kind of funny, because it really shows where Republicans' priorities are. Legislating against things that aren't even real. This one's courtesy of Raw Story. Hoax-pushing Republican introduces bill to ban kids using litter boxes in schools. I thought we were past this, but apparently not. Alright, so a Texas state representative named Stan Gerdes, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he introduced a bill to prohibit students from using litter boxes in class. Yeah, that's not a thing. That is not a thing. I don't know how many times we got to go over this, but for the love of God, it's not a thing. Alright, so Shrons.com's Gwen Howerton, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, she flagged a piece of the legislation recently filed by Gerdes that prohibits students from conducting activities typically associated with furries. People who dress up and mimic the behaviors of animals on school grounds. Among other things, the bill bans students from using a litter box for the purpose of passing stool, urine, or other human byproducts and engaging in barking, meowing, hissing, or other animal noises that are not human speech, as well as licking oneself or others for the purpose of grooming or maintenance. Okay, as someone who worked in the local school district here for about 5 years, 2.5 years as a substitute teacher, 2.5 years as a teacher's aide, and then got the hell out of there because the behavior issues were just flat out ridiculous and a lackluster administration. That was not happening. The things that they would listen to, my God, they are such idiots. They really are. It's kind of sad, really. Alright, so I want to move on to this little thing. So last month, or back in December, I should say, it feels like it's only been a month, but of course not. We're already halfway through the month of March. Time flies when everything goes to shit. So, back in December, Cenk Uygur decided to participate in America Fest, also known as Fashamania, or that's what I call it anyways, which is hosted by noted racist Charlie Kirk.
Our next guest is really interesting, everybody, and I want you all, throughout this process, even if something you hear that you don't like, that you might not agree with, is we are not going to act like the left or people on campuses. We're going to allow agreement and disagreement. I have, let's just say, debate.
You allowing agreement and disagreement. Yeah, that's pretty laughable, my brother.
In dialogue with this guy for quite a while. And I've been really struck by his commentary since the election because he's one of the few people honest enough on the left to talk about how the Democrat Party has really lost its course and how we actually have more that we might agree on than we disagree on in this kind of new populist moment.
In other words, he's setting up the fact that Cenk is going to ultimately legitimize a lot of their positions.
So Cenk, the spirit of inviting you is that
notice what he's doing there? He's trying to turn his name into a slur, and he's acting all dumb and going along with it.
There's some confusion of these divides of right versus left, populist versus corporatist. I guess a good opening would be, as a man in the progressive movement, as one of the leaders of the progressive movement, what do you make of this last year, the state of the Democrat Party, and kind of American politics from the more progressive left perspective?
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm proud to represent the left flank of the populist movement, And I think we need both flanks, so I'm happy to have this conversation. In terms of what has gone wrong in the Democratic Party, it's the same thing that went wrong in the Republican Party, but I do have to give you guys credit for a revolution well done.
Keep in mind he started off as a Republican.
And what I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So I knew you guys were for real in fighting against the establishment when I started going on right-wing shows and I would say something negative about Mitch McConnell. And when I did that in the past, what I would get back is, oh, no, Mitch McConnell's great. Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's great.
Let's do it here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, here's the thing. They don't like Mitch McConnell because he broke with Trump one time, and that's all it took. That's literally all it took. Liz Cheney, same thing. I don't like the bitch personally, but she put the country over party. So in that regard, she's got my respect. As far as her neocon ways, anti-LGBTQ viewpoints, no, she's no ally on that front at all. So, with that being said, Jank.
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing. Okay.
Yeah, did you not hear a word? Well, this is December. Who am I kidding?
Okay. And let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney?
Father Liz Cheney. That should pretty much tell you everything you need to know right there.
Well, that's all right then.
My left-wing friends out there, we have been waiting for the right-wing populists to boo Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win. Now.
Yeah, they're booing them for the wrong reasons, though, Jank. You see, they're booing Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney because they're against their cult leader, Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with the reasons you're laying out. It really doesn't, and I wish you would understand that.
Now, what we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise. We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's.
Now let's start by getting money out of politics. How does that work out for you, Jank? Oh, right, you had a meltdown that the Vanguard ended up reacting to with Lance from the Serfs. Or was that the Anna Kasparian meltdown? I must be thinking of the meltdown I watched earlier today from Political Punk. Bear with me.
And the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys. What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject.
Are you nuts? I'm pretty sure.
When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, because she had good policies. Letting Tim Walz go out there and then benching him for no fucking reason. That was a massive fuck up on her part. Then she trots out the goddamn neocon? Yeah, that's a fuck up too. But not for the reasons that Charlie Kirk is thinking.
Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney?
And if Elon keeps dismantling everything and every government agency, every program, yeah, his approval rating's going to be lower than Dick Cheney's, Jank.
I mean, when we started the Young Turks 22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with the original YouTubers, one of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side, and I've got Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm. They do not do news. They do propaganda.
That's pretty much what OAN, Fox News, Newsmax, Real America's Voice, The Daily Wire, and over the last few months now, the Young Turks have been doing as well, except it's Republican propaganda.
And one more thing. What I want you guys to recognize is that mainstream media you think is against you. You think they're against the right wing. But they also hate Bernie Sanders. And they also hate me. And they also hate the populists on the left.
My God, Jake, do you still have a hate boner for MSNBC for canceling your show?
What mainstream media really loves is the establishment and the elites. They're against all of us combined. And if we dare unite on issues we agree on, they will be livid, and it'll be a beautiful day in America.
And
yeah, the only thing is, Cenk, MAGA, they're now the establishment on the right. So how can you say they toppled the establishment when all they did was transform into the new establishment? That's a key question I would really like you to answer. But of course you're not going to. Not at all. As long as you keep getting Polymarket money.
that is correct. I mean, you were kicked off of some of the cable news channels for having heterodox opinions on certain issues. So let's kind of look at the last couple of years. We can go back to the Bernie Sanders thing. Explain to us, why is it that right-wing revolution was successful, and the Bernie Sanders with 2 attempts actually won the primary in 2016, and he had it stolen. Again, stolen election talk can be a little controversial. They stole it from Bernie Sanders in 2016. Why was that revolution not successful?
Yeah, I think it was because Donald Trump was a celebrity and they didn't take him seriously, so they made the mistake of giving him mainstream media coverage. And so they thought, and if you remember, Bill Clinton had this brilliant idea, we'll encourage Donald Trump to run on the Republican side and it'll destroy the Republican Party. How'd that work out for you, Bill? And so I remember saying at the time, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because what I sensed was you need a non-politician to lead the revolt. So, because all the politicians, and right now they're having a conversation on the Democratic side about 2028, and the only people they mention are politicians.
To be fair, Kyle Kulinski has brought up Jon Stewart multiple times. We now have Stephen A. Smith going around and throwing his name into the ring. So, who knows? We'll see where that ends up going. But, in all seriousness, Cenk, you're kind of avoiding the main thing here. MAGA is the establishment now. They got rid of the old guard. What part of this are you not understanding?
And my answer to that is hell no. Okay? Because the politicians are used to the corruption. They grew up in the corruption. They like the corruption. They got their power through the corruption.
And Trump is corrupt himself. Hell, he just did a whole Tesla advertisement on the White House lawn this week. It's not that hard, Cenk.
So I don't want that. I don't need that. And so when Trump came on, they gave him coverage. And here's when I look, some people think that things changed after the election. No, I've been saying this from day one. And so back in 2016, actually 2015, after I think it was the second debate, when Trump was on stage and he said, I gave all these guys money and they did exactly what I wanted. At that point, everyone on earth, certainly the establishment and mainstream media, says he has no chance of winning, none.
They caved for the money. They sold their souls for the money. That allowed him to become the establishment. That's what's allowed MAGA to become the establishment. What part of this is so hard for you to understand, Cenk? As far as your reasoning for it, the answer to that is quite simple.
Ha! No.
Exactly. Anyways.
I went on the Young Turks and I said, he's going to win the Republican primary, okay? Because people hate corruption, and they know it in their bones.
And they voted for a snake oil salesman who was corrupt as fuck and still is.
Okay? Now, we will disagree on, is Trump really not corrupt? Is Trump really going to do the things that he promised? Is he really a populist?
The answer to that is no.
I would love to prove me wrong. I would love that, okay? And, my God, if Trump got money out of politics, one thing we're known for is credit where credit is due, okay? I would give him all the credit in the world. We're not there yet. We're not close to there yet.
And we never will be.
So when we get into the issues, hey, how about, and remember, guys, you also have donors. Beware of the donors. Don't forget that, and don't let your guard down, okay? But so on the Democratic side, we have got to elect a populist. If we don't, we're going to make the same mistake we made when they anointed Hillary Clinton, when they anointed Joe Biden, and when they anointed Kamala Harris. So my Democratic friends, how many times are you going to lose before you realize that mainstream media and the establishment are lying to you?
And so is that...
That's actually a good independent media pitch. Just gonna throw that out there because it really is. Because look at what's happened ever since the election. MSNBC has had their ratings drop hand over fist. CNN ratings have dropped hand over fist. TYT is also going through the exact same problem, which is something he conveniently leaves out. But, of course, he and Anna are going to sit there and say it's all because of Zach and Gavin over at the Vanguard instead of their own actions. Because fuck forbid they ever take responsibility for their own actions. It's pretty fucking ridiculous.
You fucking mark!
I thought that was a different one. I'm sorry. I thought it was this one.
Well, that's all right then.
I'm still learning the layout of this new setup.
Energy forefront in the Democrat Party right now, and I'm not saying this facetiously, read us into what the power brokers of the Democrat Party are saying. Are they saying we need to run more to the middle, that we need to embrace more populism? We're hearing some of the names, but what is the vibe of the people that do this for a living?
Yeah, so I can tell you definitively that the Democratic leadership and the Democratic establishment will never voluntarily go in a new direction. They will never voluntarily accept populism.
They're voluntarily moving to the right. They're voluntarily moving to the right. Did you not listen to the speech from Elise Locken, Senator Elise Locken, where she was pretty much kissing the ass of Ronald Reagan and W? Jesus God. That should tell you something. Democrats are trying to shift farther to the right because the Republican Party, under MAGA and Trump, have gone full fascism. They've gone full fascist. What part of this are you not understanding? They've gone full Nazi.
They are built on donor money. They are of the donors, by the donors, for the donors. So what I need left-wing voters to understand is that they're never going to give you what you want incrementally. Martin Luther King talked about the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Oh, if we just go a little further with Joe Biden, he'll give us another crumble and another tiny increment. No, they're going to just pick a new and improved corporate robot like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and they're going to come out with a new script, and they're going to say, I am now a populist, and they will wear flannel shirts, and they'll go to barbecues, and they'll pretend to eat ribs, and then they'll sneak out and go to French Laundry.
So you're essentially just saying they're going to pretend to be populist, which is exactly the same thing Trump has done every fucking time he's run. He does not give a flying fuck about anyone but himself. or Putin, for that matter. Those are the only two people he cares about whenever he's not fantasizing about fucking Ivanka.
Right? So don't believe the corporate robots. Remember how many times they lied to you. We need to do a populist revolt and pick a populist left-winger so we could have a real contest in this country. The establishment Democrats are never going to win. We need to go populist, and the way to do that is not by negotiating with them, it's by defeating them in a primary.
Is the Democrat grassroots are they invigorated towards that end? Because it seemed as if they weren't obviously thrilled about Biden or Kamala Harris. But you could say whatever you want about Bernie Sanders. I have massive worldview disagreements. He had a legitimate grassroots movement behind him of small dollar donors, of people that were working, of activists. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that has disappeared a little bit in recent years, or at least has gone to sleep. Am I correct in that? And what would it take to awaken that sleeping giant?
So there's a couple different branches within the Democratic Party and the left, but the two most important ones are the populist progressive left, that's Bernie Sanders, and we can debate about progressive issues and policies on another day, right?
Then debate Sam Cedar.
But then there's the establishment wing. So the populist wing is already there. That base that was there in 2016 and 2020 still exists. And remember, guys, and I say this to you and I say it to the left wing, Bernie won the first 3 states in 2020. He was this close to winning until Obama and Clyburn called in all the candidates and said, you all have to bow to Joe Biden. And then mainstream media then said, Joe Biden is the greatest. And they started talking about how Bernie Sanders, the most successful Jewish candidate in American history, had followers who wore brown shirts and fascists and Nazis. Where have you heard that before?
That never came up. What the fuck are you even talking about? It's come up when we've talked about Trump and the J6 rioters he's pardoned, which is honestly one of the worst fucking things he's done. But going on to say that they were trying to compare Bernie to Brown. Dude, have you lost your fucking mind? I mean, seriously, I never heard that. You have totally lost the plot. You have completely lost the plot.
Oh, you're one of those.
So whenever it's an outsider, all of a sudden mainstream media says fascist, even if it's a Jewish candidate, right? So they use the same tricks. And you guys have been canceled, I've been.
Except they weren't. That's the part I wish you would understand, Jank. They weren't. They weren't saying that Bernie was a Nazi or anything like that. I don't know where you pulled this from, probably out of your ass. But does the establishment hate Bernie? Of course they do. Did they say he was a Nazi? No, they did not. The fact that you are pushing this narrative, to be completely frank, is 1, disgusting, and 2, pretty depressing to see come out of you.
Canceled. They do the same thing to both of us over and over again. So the left-wing populists are ready, but we do need some more votes from people who used to be in the establishment Democratic camp. And why were they in that camp? Because they love corruption, they love war, they love change? No, guys. They were in that camp because mainstream media lied to them. And mainstream media told them, oh, Bernie can't win. Bernie was up by 12 points on Election Day in 2016. They said, he's radical. And they called you guys radical and said you couldn't win. They call us radical and say we can't win. But they're wrong. They're lying. So what I need Democrats to understand is stop believing in Morning Joe and The View and all the garbage on TV. So...
They don't want what you're trying to sell them. You're also trying to sell actual populism to fake populists. And they're not going to listen to you or anything like that because guess what? They're in a fucking cult. It's a cult. It is pretty much the equivalent of the People's Temple or Heaven's Gate. And the fact that you are not understanding this is just so fucking infuriating.
That's a really good point about the media ecosystem. You guys are, without a doubt, the most popular, progressive, over-the-top, non-mainstream media sanctioned.
The last time I tuned into one of their live streams, which was 2 weeks ago, they only had 4,000 people watching. And they have allegedly 6.6 million subscribers. So how? I'm sorry, but how does that make any sense? Oh, that's right. You're running them off by regurgitating far-right talking points.
Community. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 27 million subscribers, 30 billion views. I think it's fair to say.
No, I'm not saying that sarcastically. I don't know of anyone that comes close. However, do you think there's a robust alternative media ecosystem on the left that is comparable to what's built on the right? I could say confidently what we have on the right is pretty impressive. We have from podcasts.
Yeah, about that. Midas Touch, I mean, granted, they're a little more corporate Democrat than I would like them to be. But Midas Touch is actually doing a really good job of that. They recently surpassed Fox News in terms of the podcast streams, or most podcast streams. They were number one, and they managed to knock down Fox News a peg or two.
Casting to videos. We don't rely on cable television. Who here listens to podcasts or social media for all your news?
You also rely on a fuck ton of billionaires. You left that part out, Charlie.
Raise your hand. I mean, every single hand goes up. So, do you think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks?
Yeah, so we have QRT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT. That's in the left-wing ecosystem.
Yeah, Jeff Waldorf finally left you not too long ago, and he had to retitle his show as The Logical Leftist. Although he finally did crack 200,000 subscribers, so hats off to Jeff Waldorf. In all seriousness, I do like your work, Jeff.
So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing, okay? So you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you do realize they're only welcoming you on just to legitimize their particular brand of fascist bullshit, right?
We're glad Chank's here, right, everybody?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well.
Hold on, this needs to be played.
You are an idiot!
If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right?
You see, what you and Anna are doing, you're regurgitating Republican talking points, and you're espousing transphobia. Yeah, you're doing propaganda. You're trying to say, oh, Project 25 is not what Trump is going to do. It's going to be Agenda 47. And then a few months later, well, I was wrong, apparently. It's ridiculous. And you wonder why nobody's tuning into TYT anymore? You seriously wonder why?
But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right? So, look, I propose simple rules, the 3 rules of the internet. Rule number 1, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, rule number 2 is afterwards we must have a beer together.
Have a beer with Sam Cedar. Have a beer with Sam Cedar. If you're proving to be serious about this, Cenk, have a beer with Sam Cedar. Excuse me. This one finally got me. I'm sorry. What the fuck?
Okay? And rule number 3 is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite. So,
Kind of hard to do when you won't even do the second step of that, Jank.
for the left, we have too much division. We almost never unify. I don't mean with the right, I mean internally. The left loves to attack one another. I love you guys on the left. I love you. But every once in a while, when we get a yes,
Do you? Because you're more than happy to throw everyone else under the fucking bus in order to serve your own goddamn ego. You want us all to kiss your ass. And those of us who don't, you go and make straw men and knock them the fuck down. Because you don't have legitimate arguments. Now do you, motherfucker?
when we agree, can we please unite? And the second thing we need is for the old, I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course, but for the older Democratic voters, please turn off your television sets. They're lying to you. They're tricking you. They're trying to get you to vote for corruption. They're trying to get you to vote for policies you don't even want. So if we can do those two things, then we'll be in great shape.
So I'm not sure how you'll feel about this, but there is a not a consensus. There is a belief with some people, like Seth Moulton and others, that some of the embrace of what we would call wokeism or whatever was a reason why Democrats had a less than desirable election outcome. Do you subscribe to that belief? How do you interpret that when some people say we need to kind of shed away some of the more new elements of the cultural implications of politics outside of economics, like the Seth Moulton belief that where he says the trans stuff hurt us?
Yeah, Seth Moulton is, I would consider him center right.
Yeah, so look, guys, on that stuff, I've been having these debates internally with the left wing. And I explained yesterday, actually, on the Young Turks. Look, everybody's positions are in a different part of the left-right spectrum and on different policies. So I can name you policies where you say, oh, that's pretty moderate, right? I can name you policies that you're not sure is left or right-wing, but that is definitely populist, right? But some of my policies might be called extreme left in America. So, for example, I'm massively in favor of gun control. You told them not to boo, and I knew they'd boo on that one.
They paused to their respect.
No, that was a boo. That was booing. That was booing, Jake. It doesn't matter how you try to spin it. It was booing. Hold on, really quick. Let me just enough. Here we go.
Policies that you're not sure is left or right wing, but that is definitely populist, right? But some of my policies might be called extreme left in America. So, for example, I'm massively in favor of gun control. You told them not to boo, and I knew they'd boo on that one.
They paused.
Yeah, no. No.
To their respect. You were asking for it, Jane.
Yeah, I did ask for it. So my point to my left-wing allies is, am I going to emphasize and insist and demand on my gun control policies when we're in the middle of a national election? No, because I know those are not winning issues at this point.
Yeah, you're going to throw minorities under the bus. That's what you're going to do. That's what you've been doing, and that's what you're going to continue to do. That's why you have the vanguard all over you and Anna like flies on shit. This is why you've gotten into disagreements with Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland. This is why you're too busy trying to call everybody else grifters when you and Anna are clearly the ones grifting at this point.
I've got more work to do to convince the American people before we get there. So if on trans issues or any other, or crime issues, etc., if you really believe in the most far left positions, as I do on gun control, for example, that's okay. But you've got to know what to emphasize and what not to emphasize. And so if you say, no, I'm going to die on every extreme hill, well, you will. Electorally, politically, you will die on that hill. And then you lose on all of your issues, because it's sometimes a binary game. Certainly elections are. So you got to know what to convince the American people of and what to hold your ground on. And the number one thing to hold your ground on is constitutional rights. So I'm going to do some...
Oh my God. You have totally lost a shit ton of credibility with me, Jank. You really have.
Like the Second Amendment.
You're in a room with gun nuts, motherfucker.
So, no, I know. So guys, look at that. We totally disagree on that issue, but we just...
You were asking for that one.
No problem. No, but look, but that was an important moment, because we totally disagree on that issue, but we just shook hands anyway. And you know what we'll do afterwards? We'll have a beer!
Alright, I'm just calling this one now. Jank, you and Anna are way too busy coddling fuckers like Charlie Kirk, Glenn Beck, Tim Pool, every single right-wing propagandist imaginable, because your channel is dying. Oh, that's right, it's dying because of the shit you're spewing. You're spewing propaganda stories. You're spewing transphobia. You're going after a black woman mayor over the response to the fires in California. Now, most of what you guys have criticized her for is race and not living up to the exceedingly high expectations. When in actuality, you should be holding her accountable for, one, firing the fire marshal, and two, being elected the mayor of Los Angeles and still thinking she's supposed to go on these delegation trips or whatever the fuck they're called as a part of a delegation put together by Joe Biden. Bitch, you are the mayor now. I appreciate the things you've done in Congress. I appreciate that you've served in Congress. But with you being the mayor now, I would have said no. That's what I would have done. I appreciate the offer, but no. But as far as Jake and Anna are concerned, they're also doing shows with Dr. Phil now, Lindy Lee, her sellout. It's essentially...
I want you to help me with your email. Get it all the way through me, you...
Oh, stop it.
It's that.
I want you to help me with your...
It's this. This is the shit you, Jank, you and Anna are doing. You're bending over for fascism. That's what this was. And here's my question to you, Jank. Over the last few months, ever since Trump took office on January 20th of this year, has he done a single fucking thing to make us great? Because I just feel embarrassed. Alright, so that's it for this broadcast. We'll be back next week. I should have OBS Studio figured out. If you missed the first 30 minutes of the stream, you'll know why. Just go back and watch. My mic was muted. Alright, so with that being said, if you have any tips on how to use OBS Studio a little bit more proficiently, feel free to leave those in the comments or email them to me at damnprogresspod@gmail.com. And with that said, in the immortal words of Jim Cornette,